Stay here. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why Trump just lost and he sealed his fate. And you're going to feel 1,000% better when I'm done with this. Let's go. Number 1, Hillary Clinton. Man, she just got the biggest win. $1 million from Donald Trump. Even if she never gets it, it doesn't even matter. It's just that she scored that one against him in the courts, kicked his ass. And quite frankly, he brought a frivolous bullshit suit. What? Trump? Frivolous? Bullshit? No. Yeah, he brought that. That's number 1. Number 2, the big loss he had was the gerrymandering. Why in the world would you do this gerrymandering stuff? I can't believe it. And here's the thing. I'm going to give you a bombshell all the way through this video, so you're going to want to listen to every moment of it. Here's the thing. The gerrymandering stuff had to be the most ironic thing because it was by a judge he appointed. The judges he appoints, Reagan appoints, and both Bushes appointed have been standing with us like down like 10 toes, for real, on all 10 toes. And here's the thing, 99% of the cases are at the bottom. You can't send everything up to the Supreme Court because they only deal with 1. And he's got 700 cases he's dealing with. He can't send it all up there. He's not winning. He's not about it. He's out it. He's in, and you might say, well, why is he getting away with everything? Listen, you need to look in the mirror and have a conversation with yourself as you listen to me here to say this. 1, he ain't getting away with everything. He's getting away with everything. That means wait for it. It's coming for him. And then 2, if you think for 1 second this man's winning and you're not MAGA, something's wrong with you. Let me break it down to you. That means you don't know the history, operation, and laws of our government. He is close to his death physically and politically. He is on the in and on the outs and on the lame ducks. That's why all of these Congress people are trying to either retire, get out of there while they can, like MTG, or they're basically not listening to this guy and going on their own agenda. They're like, screw this dude, we got to go do something else. And it's a smooth move because, honestly, not looking good for him. I'm just telling you right now. Now, let's talk about more of his losses, shall we? Okay, so 70% of the lowercase courts he's lost in temporary, permanent, state, and national injunctions as well as actual cases. The other thing he's lost at is his ability to effectively control the narrative. Now, he's trying, because this whole D.C. shooting thing, he's trying to take it, yes, I'm going to take D.C. back. But people see through it. They see, okay, wait a minute, you mean to tell me a CIA operative who you approved to get into the country just shot the group of people who are least likely to be shot at? I mean, if he had shot ICE, would have been like, yeah, what's going to happen? But you talk about shooting National Guards, and you're a CIA operative with a badge. Oh, there's craziness going on. Listen, there's wars going on between the intelligence community and Donald Trump because he's fired thousands of them. That's the last group you want to mess with. The last president who messed with that group was JFK. Get what I'm saying? I mean, I ain't insinuating them, but I'm just saying, you don't want to mess with that group. Here, the intelligence community internationally does not like this guy, especially since Elon Musk pissed all the international intelligence off. So don't be surprised Elon Musk, kind of hangs himself in his cell type stuff. Epstein's himself. And then look over at the Doge crew. The Doge crew in trouble too. If any of them get in car accidents or have sleeping or OD or hangs themselves, you watch that. Not only is he losing in the courts, not only is he losing with gerrymandering, not only is he losing with No King's Day because he tried to outrank that and try to shut it down, didn't work, but he's definitely losing with Epstein. Either way, he's going to lose with Epstein. If he redacts the files, if DOJ plays any games, it's his ass. Everybody's going to come at him, including his own allies. But let's say they release it and they find out what's going on with them and the little girls, because that's what it is. He messed around with these little girls, man. If they find out and they can get enough pressure in the next couple of months, they can pull this guy out of office. They could. Here's what makes that more important than him dying or anything. If he's pulled out of office, he's a target. And if he's a target, for instance, by the states. The biggest one, Letitia James, of all people, which he lost that too. He's going to lose that Bolton case too. I just see it happening. But he lost the Comey case, and he lost the Comey case in a way, the way he don't even have the right to even trial it. you know? And Bondi is an idiot. Bondi's talking about, oh, we're going to go after this again. No, you shouldn't. And Bondi's going to turn state's evidence on him. Watch. When they put the pressure on, she ain't going to jail. Unless she thinks she ain't going to jail, but she got a chance to. There's a whole crew of people going under, and they see it. They see it. Stephen Miller, I mean, you got Steve Bannon already saying we can go to jail. We ain't going to win this. No, you ain't going to win this because you got in here and you screwed over everybody. You screwed over your own base. And then you carried them out of I can't even believe that. You carried them out of town hall meetings. That's to be the dumbest thing ever. Here's what he's really losing too. He's losing economic confidence and faith. And as that happens, the people he grifted with are going to turn state's evidence on him and on his family. They're in trouble. Why do you think he's so nice to Mom Donnie? Mom Donnie has his finger on the pulse of fucking him up because he got a lot of money in New York. His people who he do business with got a lot of money in New York. And his family's got a lot of money in New York. At the very least, he can mess up hundreds of billions of dollars and make it very difficult for Trump. What I want you to understand in this whole process is we watching him melt down and melt away. One of the biggest things that he's losing is his control over the people. Let me explain that. It's not just MAGA people, because MAGA people, yes, are mad. They're mad at those visas, and they're not getting their job. They feel lied to. They feel lied to through the Epstein list. They feel lied through to the cost of goods and services, lied because their friend or their co-workers or whatever, or, Julio and them is getting harassed. They didn't expect that. They just expect we're going to terrorize the blue with racism and show them what's what. That's what we're going to do. They didn't know it would affect them because they're dummykins. But here's where it gets interesting too. When you look over at his overall poll ratings are dropping like crazy because they know that he's a piece of shit and he's messed things up for the last 40 years. They don't know that, but he has. He's messed stuff up for the last 40 years. It gets even better when you think about one core thing. His positioning that he's done for himself has led to his total annihilation. Basically, I'm going to drain the swamp. I'm going to take down Epstein. I'm going to take all these things down. Has not worked out, has it? It gets also deeper when we really get to talking about loss. Because whether he's losing through Epstein and gets unseated, or we get a Democratic majority for 2026, which it looks like we certainly will, is going to eat them alive. The only out they got is if the Democrats fail us, which we are scared of anyway. We're afraid of God. They're going to lose it. See, those 8 that caved was the most dangerous thing that could happen. Because the reason in which they caved is the scariest part. They caved so they could get a greater majority in 2026. It sounds evil, but it's true. They went and did that. And I say evil because if these people lose their subsidies, out of these 20 million, 4 million could lose the subsidies. 50,000 of them, 50,000 of people watching this, some of the 50,000 of them and people watching this understand this, that 50,000 Americans will die next year if they don't have those subsidies, either slowly or quickly. And he's still screwing around with the SNAP benefits. This is his end. This is his end. Because he screwed up his own base. He screwed up his own people. He's trying to remove billions of dollars from hospitals and care workers in the South. The poorest countries are the people that voted for him, poorest states that voted for him. And on top of that, he backed it and he was okay with it and he had nodded it too. So where do we have a pathway to us being better and going and focusing forward? We have to make sure that our primaries are on point. We got the right people for primaries. Join indivisible.org and understand the primaries. We also got to relook at the way in which we consider Democrats versus traditional and progressive. We also got to let the whole AIPAC thing go. Here's what I mean by that. There were people who got supported by AIPAC who stood with us in the shutdown and didn't cave. Who stood with us in the first shutdown, didn't cave. It's not about AIPAC. It's about who has progressive ideas. If they have progressive thinking, progressive ideas, and progressive action, then we got a good chance. But if they don't, then we end up getting screwed over. So it's not the APOC, because there could be people who are not accepting APOC, but they traditionalists, yes. And you thinking, oh, well, you don't accept APOC, you're cool. No, they come in and they could destroy us. That's the big thing. Here's some other things I want you to understand he's losing at. He's losing not only the confidence, but he's losing the ability to control the mindset of the left. I know you're thinking, what do you mean by mindset of the left? Well, here's the thing. Most people don't know the history, operation, laws of the government. So they think, can he get away with that? And the truth is he can't. He can't get away with that. It's bullshit. But most people don't know that it's bullshit because they don't understand the history, operation, laws of the government. So it stresses you out. But you're beginning to figure out, wait a minute, this guy is full of crap. This guy is not able to do what he's doing, and it's going to catch up to him. And the more people that figure that out, the better we are, the better things become. And I want you to also understand the bigger picture of that. As more people figure that out and understand he's a BS, it's like when you discover a bully's a bully, but he's weak, and everybody gets together and start whipping his ass. You know, that's what it comes down to. We've also had three groups that I repeatedly talk about. Yes, you have hundreds of lowercase courts. Again, 99% of them are there. They can take everything up to the higher courts. That's why they couldn't even fight gay marriage. They don't have time for that. They got a deal right here in the lower courts. Then you have the hundreds of nonprofits like the ACLU, NAACP, Indivisible.org. There's tons of them, including your local organizations who've been fighting left and right. And then we have the 20 plus governors and attorney generals who've been fighting and kicking ass. And honestly, we're going to have majority in this country starting in 2026 with the New Jersey and the New Jersey and Virginia governors. We're going to outrank the nation and be the majority of the nation Democratic governors and attorney generals. And that means we're going to be able to fight even more. They stopped the freeze of $1 trillion in the first 3 weeks. They stopped the Medicaid freeze in the first 3 weeks. They're there. They are fighting. We are winning. But it feels like a rough fight, and he keeps throwing more and more shit at us every day. And it's okay. He's in an act of desperation. That's why he's up in the middle of the night on Truth Social leaving the craziest freaking messages ever. That's why he's trying to get, talk about the Democrats need to be dead. So he's trying to inspire people to hurt people. And that's why him and his people are probably behind this whole shooting with the National Guards. I mean, it was their person they approved, and they're still pointing at the left. The only people believing that is the brainwashed right, maggots. It's right there, and every news source said, hey, CIA said he had a badge and he was approved in April. And yet they're still trying to point to us. I'm like, no. It's that crazy. It's that crazy. I want you to understand what's taking place right now. We are winning. Our best days are ahead of us. He's in a downward spiral. He's on his way out the door, one way or another. We just have a patience in the process of happening that we have to get through. And you got to also understand in this patience process, we got crazy we're dealing with. Every form of crazy, both on the left and the right. The left, some people on the left have no idea what the fuck's going on. Other people in Congress have this weak left leadership, which Schumer and Jeffrey should have been out literally 7 months ago. I was calling for them to be fired. Look up YouTube, Schumer, Darren Monroe Schumer, or Jeffries, Darren Monroe Jeffries. I've been calling for them to be fired for 7 months ago. 7 months ago, I'm like, listen, they got to go. They ain't working out. And people are like, oh, they kind of, sort of. I'm like, back then, they were saying that. I was like, no. And then when the first shutdown went down, they were like, oh, man, Darren, you're right. And then the more they watch Jeffries, it's like, oh, man, Darren, you're right. They're not working. They're not working. And we need somebody who's going to get in there and fight. Who would that be? Hey, leave your suggestion. I mean, we've heard AOC, we've heard Jasmine Crockett. Who do you think would be a good minority leader in the House? Right now, AOC and Jasmine are in the House. Over in Senate, so who do you think, Jasmine or AOC? In the Senate, I'm not sure who we have because I could say Elizabeth Warren, which I think she's doing great. But the problem I have with Elizabeth Warren that everybody doesn't talk about enough, and that is that she should have been the main person to challenge Schumer. She should have been the main one fighting, saying, listen, from that first shutdown, she'd have been like, oh no, you don't get it. See, there was enough to vote him out in the minority leadership, because the 10 that didn't vote with him voted against him and against ending the shutdown. And there's enough of those votes. I think it's like 30, 37 or something. There's enough votes to remove him as minority leader. And nobody had the heart to do it. At least publicly, openly, and talk about it. They're trying to say, we've been had this talk. No, you should have gotten the public and said, hey, we challenging this man. I know what I can understand them being afraid. If you shoot at the king, you bet not miss, as Omar from The Wire would say. But I think it was time to pull him down. It was time to pull him down. So we got problems on the left. But in the midst of all of that, Trump is failing bad. I mean, seriously. He has sealed his fate with the judges, because they ain't having it no more, especially in the lower courts. And he can't take everything to the Supreme Court. He's failing with his policies. Congress don't even want to hear his health plan. He's failing with his health. He's in trouble, real bad trouble. He's failing with Epstein files. Epstein files has been kicking his butt, have they not? And they're going to come out. We're going to find what's up. We're going to find out. And here's the thing I've said to everybody. Even if he redacts, even if DOJ plays games, they could release that bitch right now. So they sitting there talking, waiting, and all this bullshit. Even if they redact, there's somebody with the real files. And they're going to leak that. Remember, you heard this here. They're going to leak that. Those files are coming out one way or another. They're going to get you one way or another. They're going to get him. Now, here's the thing you need to understand. The biggest thing you can do to help the movement is not calling your Congress. There are millions doing that now. It's not reaching out to your State Department. If you're doing that now, that's great. But reaching out to your state governor or nearby blue state governor if you're in a red state. Not that. There are millions doing that. Or reaching out to your blue cities, even if you're surrounded in a red state, like Austin or San Antonio or Dallas-Fort Worth there. You see what I'm saying? What I'm trying to get you to understand is that the biggest thing you can do, gigantic, biggest thing you can do is to fight by making sure that videos go out across social media. Donald Trump's interested in marketing. And this is the first time he's been vulnerable like this in marketing. And what we have to do is share this message. Not just my video, but anybody who's telling you the meaning behind everything. Because the other issue we have on the left is we got alarmist, conspiracy, and doomsday people. And alarmists keep just repeating what Trump said. Latest news, Trump did this. It's horrible. Yeah. Like, no, fool. What we need is somebody in here we need more people by the tens of millions sharing the narrative. We're doing really good with this narrative on the CIA part, with the CIA DC shooting, because we're out there fighting, telling people, no, it's not the left. Fuck you. They basically brought him in April. How is that the left's fault? They're supposed to be the big bad, get rid of people. You deporting American citizens who ain't did a damn thing, but you can't keep a CIA badge holding immigrant from shooting National Guards. Shit. That's a setup if I ever saw it. They did that so they can send more National Guards in. And they ain't claiming it, but they did that shit. Believe it, they did that shit. He's losing, and we see right through it. That's what I mean, all of you helping support the narrative and promote the videos. The idea is he did that shit, and we know he did that shit. That's the thing that's crazy right now. He's talking out the side of his you-know-what, but we know that what he did, and he knows he did it, and they also know it. Listen, he's not winning. He didn't win. He's not winning now. And he's on that list. And that's the thing we need to know and understand. Epstein, gerrymandering war, and no kings. You keep on that, you're going to do well and help the movement as we move him out, the GOP out, because they're losing. Watch my next video.